That should be us. Now you can see me just to help you, which is good. And I'll just make sure the YouTube's flicked over into a live process. See me just to help you.
Yeah.
Which is, sick. She's live. That looks good. Let's rock and roll, mate.
Let's go, mate.
All right. Well, I'm recording too. So for the people at home that have had to listen to 30 seconds of me yapping, appreciate that. This is a first for my little channel here, which I do low key. I've got a first guest ever, which is Griff. So welcome, Griff, to the show, mate.
Thanks, Hudson. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, so Griff is an OG of the game. We'll get a bit into that a little bit, but just for a bit of a background, I obviously being a bit of a nerd and love my fantasy and whatnot. I started making content on the NBA side, where I would use my modelling that I learnt to analyse draft prospects coming into the NBA for fantasy and whatnot. So I'd take what I was watching in college in the NBA and then build out a model using data and measurables and model out like grades to help with my analysis I was putting out on Twitter. And after a while doing that, I was like, it's funny because I actually love NRL more and I play that game way more hardcore. Why don't I just start trying to do something for NRL? So that was my content side. But prior to that, even I'd always consumed podcasts, and you boys with the Three Wise Draftmen about early 2017 or 18 is when I found you guys and just absolutely loved your show, mate. Yeah, I just adored your show. That's when I found you because that's when we really ramped up our draft league. So love the show. So yeah, appreciate all the work you put in, mate. And then I know you started getting really good with the data before sort of your career sort of derailed what you were doing. So I remember the data was just game changing, mate. So appreciate everything you've done for the community and the game. I know you've got a bit about that, but honestly, like my first question for tonight is just explain sort of how the podcast came about, what inspired you to take it from just your league and actually go and actually record with the boys.
Yeah, well, it's a funny one actually because we were in the same, like we started when draft first came out in 2013. So yeah, there wasn't too much out then, but there was the Supercoach Talk guys, which I believe are the BDE guys now.
Yep.
So we used to consume a bit of their stuff. They were pretty much the only draft Supercoach at the time.
Simo and you guys.
Yeah, and so we used to listen to a fair bit of them, but then I think there was one off season, they just didn't have any content out yet.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just wanted to get the juices flowing, wanted to talk Supercoach. So yeah, I got together with Stuart and Noble.
Yep.
Obviously we're actually the first three chants of our league.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so yeah, I won the first year, Stuart won the second year, and Noble won the third. Yep. So yeah, so we're pretty heavily into it.
Yeah.
And then we just decided to give it a go. We just started with an iPhone and just sitting in a room. That was pretty much what we did every week in, week out.
Yeah.
And then it sort of evolved over the years. Eventually, I bought all the tech.
Yep.
And we pretty much stopped straight after I bought it all. So
I know, mate. I noticed that because I noticed you guys are really cranking it, which sucks. But glad you can use maybe some of it with me when you've got the motivation to come on the show if you enjoy it. Yeah.
Obviously, we got heads for radio, so we never did the video stuff. But I know that's where the content game is now. So.
Yeah, and I'm someone who already had it too. So like, it was just sat there, like from other past stuff. So like, it was like just pretty effortless for me to flick it on. Mine was actually streaming like Call of Duty on Twitch and stuff. So I ended up getting a lot of like the tech, and I already had the big PC and stuff for high intensity like FPS. So I had it and just went, screw it. I've got all the data. I'm doing all the analysis. I'm analyzing the waivers like no tomorrow. Might as well start sharing it, just like everyone, right? But I'm not, like, as you know, I'm pretty low key, mate. I try and keep things pretty neutral, but I do enjoy it, and I just love the community vibe vibes. Like we've got a Discord that you've seen. It's just like a big chat room, and what it's given me is a place to ask for advice from my own buddies in there that I've made and never met in person that are away from my own league. So if I've just got like a weird decision and you just want different opinions, I just chuck it in the boys 100%. And I go, what do you guys reckon? Am I an idiot for this trade, or what do you reckon about this? And they just go, yeah, no, I love it, don't love it, whatever. And I don't have to chat to my own league that's really competitive about things.
Well, that's right.
And that.
Yeah.
So I've just been frothing the community part.
Yeah, no, look, mentioning the community, like the Three Ways Draftman, we had a great community, mate. Like, honestly, rarely a bad word ever said to us. Like, it was all really upbeat, and it was great. Like, we had Facebook, we had Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter.
Well, X now.
Yeah.
But yeah, the community was unbelievable.
No, it's the best part, hey. Like, honestly, the
100%.
content's whatever. I haven't tried to do too much, as I said to you yesterday, because I don't want to feel like I've got to do it. If I'm busy with work or life or sport, I don't want to feel trapped to something like I'm doing because I'm making people pay or whatnot.
Yeah, exactly right.
Which makes it hard, but I just love it, so it's all good. But getting through it, quickly talk to me about your current league. How many guys are in it? What's sort of the basics of like the roster? Finals rounds, if you can do a bit of a run through, just so that you and I can understand what we're talking about when we tell each other what we're thinking. Yeah, so
we've got a 12-man league right now.
Oh wow!
We're running 13 positions, so just your regular 1 to 13.
Nice.
But we have one flex.
Oh, you're doing the flex,
right? So we're actually doing like basically 14 players are playing. We have a 4-man bench. Last year I think it was either 5 or 6 man.
Yeah.
But we vote on it every year, and people wanted to bring it back. Yeah, I always want a bigger bench, obviously, but we do snake. Well, we've been doing snake draft the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Which it gets stale, because obviously we do draft order days, and you want to try and get the number 1 pick. But when you're doing a snake draft, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Also, when we used to do linear drafts, we used to trade picks a lot.
Yeah.
And which gave it a way better dynamic. You sort of had to sort yourself out. And if someone made some big moves, sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't, because that middle of the draft was the key that year, or sometimes it's not. But yeah, 1 day waivers. We don't play the buys. We used to play the buys. We just found when we played the buys, some people take it serious, some people don't, and it was just. It's not the fact that people had to drop really good players to try and get a win. It was just the fact that some guys just weren't even fielding a team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just, I don't know. We just got over it. As soon as we took the buys out, I mean, there's a buy every week now.
Yeah.
So you still got to dodge things.
Yeah, gotcha. Yep. And with the 4-man bench, it does make more sense. I get it.
Yeah, definitely with the shorter bench. And then, we just do round 23 to 26 for finals.
Yep.
And top 8 this year. Last year we did a top 6. I probably prefer the top 6.
Yeah.
Because I just think only half should really get in there, or less than half.
Yeah.
But we play captains.
Yeah, cool.
But no VC.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we just found put your balls on the line.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. I like that. So my feedback is, glad you got off linear, because linear is just so far from fair, I think, unless it's built out of unless something feeds into linear, whether it's like a challenge day or something. But
or just trading picks.
If it's built into, like, if you're behaving, or if it's like last year's performances help you get like a different spot in the pick run, I get like that it can work, but I think it's good to get away from that. Have you ever considered like a second round reversal to try and balance out some of the top heavy nature? It's not so big anymore, I don't think, but
I think we have done it. Was it the bonsai one?
Yeah, they might. Yeah, I think that's probably what they call it officially. Yeah,
I think we did it one year, but I don't know. We just said, linear or snake.
Yeah, sweet. No, that's cool, mate. Yeah, so I'm auction, so a bit different. So our teams can be a bit lopsided, good and bad. Like people can just be real top heavy, or like me, they can be real balanced this year and sort of lacking an out and out gun, which I'm not now because I pick guys I thought would become guns, but if you read my team on paper, whatnot. So yeah, auction can lead to some pretty crazy stuff, and so yeah, we're a bit different on there. Buy rounds, I actually do understand what you're saying. I think where I come from is we want it to be cutthroat, and if you don't try, I want you to lose. Because I put a big emphasis on first and second seed, because for my mindset, and this isn't like not saying you're wrong, this is just my belief, so just go with me. I'm a big believer in like when you come first and second, you get that first week bye, then you get the second chance if you lose. That's really powerful. That's what we do in our top 6. And I just want the best team to be rewarded enough come finals for 23 rounds of performances, if you get me. That's just how I view it. Yeah, so that's what we do, and I think the buys are good because I'm someone who plays for them, and the reason I think the buys work for my league in particular is with the auction league. I want there to be that scrutiny on players that don't play Origin, and their value then changes. So it's not just Britton Nakora of every year, it's Britton Nakora not playing Origin. It's Eli Katoa not playing Origin, and I want that to be a consideration so there's more nuance and strategy and tactics, because our auction goes for 4 and a bit hours. It's flat out red hot, and I want it to be hard and stressful and intense, and I want every dollar to matter. So that's just our belief, but I love your approach. I think it makes way more sense if that's what suits the league and dudes aren't like fielding teams.
We've got guys that, they suck at the start of the year, and then they sort of get a leg up with the buys. Yeah. Because they've got the team that they can just drop.
Yes, mate.
So
I agree with
they
you,
were
mate.
dropping like 6, 7, 8 players.
Yeah, legit. Yeah.
Just so they can get a win, which is fair enough because the other team's not going to do that.
No, yeah, I hear. So, it can go negative that way too. And what we find with our bigger bench than standard, which is a big thing for me, because I don't want my best mate, for example, drafted Keanu Kinney. I don't want him to have to drop in, mate. Just week one.
Same.
It's just unfair, mate. I'm off it. So that's out. But then you would get the same thing where these guys who fail the draft, Griff, they can, after 5 weeks of waivers, they can just churn so hard. They replace all their mistakes. They got Purdue this year, Nanai this year, and all of a sudden they're competitive. But I'm like, fair go to you. Like, if you want to spend your money on your top 5, it's an auction, and they don't, and you can recoup it elsewhere. I've done it the last 3 years. I'm only this year changed my strategy to go for depth. So I see pros and cons, but yeah, great to chat about it. And I don't think there's any right or wrongs. And I think the VC thing makes sense too.
You just deal with whatever your league settings are.
Yeah,
really.
That's it, mate. Yeah, I just love to hear what people are doing. But you're round 26 final, mate, just to confirm.
Yeah, round 26.
Yeah, cool, yep. Yeah. And the 4 rounds or whatever, so 23.
Yeah, 23 to 26. I think last year was... it was still 23 to 26.
Yep.
Because I think if you come first, you have a week off.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
I've thought about, like, I know Rugby League Guru, I don't, like, listen to a lot of his stuff, but he does up to 27, and, like, because of the restings, it ends up kind of balancing out anyway, where, like, dudes that might rest on 27, they end up resting 26 anyway. I'm either neither here nor there. I think you can get away with whatever. I just like it standard, and I recommend people do 26, because the more people that do the one thing, the better it is to give advice.
Oh, 100%.
Do you get me? If everyone's doing different things, it's like, how can I help you if you're, I don't know, your settings off top, so...
Oh, we had that 2 years ago. One of my mates, he was probably going to win the comp. It was probably going to be his maiden victory.
Gotcha.
Nico Hines didn't play round 26.
Yeah.
That wasn't last year. That was the year before.
The year before, yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So just things like that. I think he ended up he barely cracked the 600. Yeah, 600 mark.
Yeah, just brutal flat out. So, yeah, I know it can go both ways, can't it? Though?
Yeah.
Like, guys had Jerome Hughes skip out, and then they get dogged.
With the Storm. Yeah, I mean they can rest whenever.
Exactly. So stress city, mate. So moving on to like another phase though. So thanks for like the overall view. But let's talk about your draft this year. Just roughly, where did you pick? And let's go through like your top 4 picks and your thinking behind it.
Yeah. So where did I pick? I think I was 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 6th. And
pretty tough spot this year, kind of from memory. 6. I feel like.
Well, yes and no.
Yeah.
I just hang on a second. I'm just trying to get your team.
Yeah, that's all good, mate. No, it's all sweet.
I know who my top 3 picks were.
Yeah, cool. That's fine. If you want to do top 3, I just want to talk about what your guns are and how you're situated.
Yeah. So I think Palmer went just before me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get Palmer, but I went with Drinky.
Oh, yes, dude.
So
let's go.
I had Drinky the year before. Yeah, I know. I had him the year before, and don't get me wrong, he was great. It was just like, do I really want to go 2 years in a row? And
Yeah, I get it.
just all the pros with him, and especially now that he's got the goal kick, and I mean, that's just worked out brilliantly.
Yeah. Do you put the C on him most weeks?
Most weeks, yeah. Thank God I did last week as well, and the week before. I don't know if I did the first big score.
I think most people had tried him. He had a slow start, then when they tried other things, then they went fuck it, Drinky. And now he's gone and delivered for him. So
3 in a row.
Yeah, bang,
yeah,
bang.
3 tons.
He's my type of guy. I'm a big Drinky and Teddy guy. Just for consistency and durability in the last few years, I've ended up, sadly, it is a bit boring with Teddy 3 years in a row, but he's undervalued in my league. We're from Brisbane, the Queensland boys. They don't really take too much notice of Teddy. Actually, I haven't drafted him 3 years, mind you. I've actually traded for him 2 years in a row, then drafted him kind of accidentally this year, but Drinky was my main target. So I love that you got him. And then who'd you go next?
Big David Fafita.
And on paper, awesome pairing with Drinky, right? But
100%.
Hasn't gone your way.
To me, I still see him as the best second rower in the game.
He is, yeah.
And not even close.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. I think he has 10 points probably in difference to when if he was playing 80 minutes, there's 10 points average difference between him and then Ellie or Hardy Young.
Exactly right.
Drops away for Hardy Young.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Third pick, Jaden Campbell.
Oh, right.
Now, didn't realise at the time, I just went back-to-back Titans and really didn't want to, put all your eggs in the Titans basket. Because I really could have got Tino the next pick after that. Could have easily got him. But because of those 2 guys, I didn't go there.
Yeah, tough. Yep. But again, that's a pretty good value on Jaden Campbell. He went 11th in our community league, mate.
Yeah,
so I think get him
31 or something.
Oh, is that what it was? 31?
Yeah, I think it's 31. Yeah,
because you're 12-team league. Oh my.
Yeah, 12-team league against Snake.
But that's a steal, mate. Like that's disgusting. Like he shouldn't have gone that fallen that.
Yeah, no, in hindsight, 100%. I think at the time I was a bit. I think because I really wanted to obviously sort out the halves. And don't get me wrong, blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
The bloke before me, he picked Mitch Moses as his second pick, and then on the return, DCE was available, and so if it got to me, I was going DCE.
Yeah.
And then right before me, he picked DCE, which you can in our league because of the flex.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
So he doubled up with halfbacks. Obviously, Moses and DCE haven't really worked out, but I mean, Campbell's had a couple of weeks injury as well, so
yeah, I mean it all swings and roundabouts, but from a pure value and ceiling perspective, on paper by round 3, if I was watching your draft, I'd say holy, you just haven't had the rub of the green. But with Drinky to JC to Fafita, that's bizarre.
Yeah, my league, it can really throw some rocks and diamonds on draft day.
Yeah,
like I'm pretty sure one of the blokes picked Ben Hunt as his second pick.
Does that annoy you that you're such a diehard, but you've got these kind of guys in your league that undermine the integrity of the league by not being as competitive?
You would think so, but they always seem to work out for these blokes in some sort of weird way. They always reach for something stupid, but then they'll get something late that they shouldn't have got, and it just like balances it out.
Yeah, true, and that's big in auction too, for sure. And then on waivers, like you'll have a guy who busts his draft and he just has the room to grab Aaron Clark and bloody whoever, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, cool. That mistake I laughed at him for, the $20 on whoever, it doesn't matter now because he's gone and got $20 of value in the first 3 rounds of waivers, for example. So I hear you. It's just interesting because I thought, is Noble still in the league?
Yeah. Noble's still in the league.
His analysis with you was top tier with Simo, like you 3, like you, Noble, Simo.
Stuart, sorry.
No, Simo from BDE.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Nah, Stuo never scratched the itch for me. No offense, Stuo, but
probably because he was drunk the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. But you and Noble, I remember having a couple of debates. Actually, and I liked it that you had differing opinions sometimes, and you obviously both had opinions. You weren't just kind of like feeble. You weren't like, nah, I agree with you, mate. You were like, no, I don't back that, and vice versa. So if Noble's in there, I'm happy to say it's still competitive. But when I hear Ben Hunt round 2, I'm like, come on, mate, you gotta. What are we doing?
No. To be fair, Noble was the first pick this year, and he took Turbo.
Oh, he fell for it.
Yeah, and he did. He regretted it. Yeah. Like later on, he's just like, I just wanted to be cool, but should have went with Cleary.
No, we've all had that. I picked him in the community league for 3 years.
I think I've had Turbo 3 years, and he's never finished the season for me.
No, I had him in 2022, and it was my first year never making finals, and I pride myself on my drafting, and Turbo cost me everything, mate. That was the shoulder year where he started, did something, knee or something, then he came back, then did the shoulder out for ages in Origin, and
I've got a feeling that I had him that year too, and I think that's the only year I didn't make the finals.
I wouldn't be surprised, because it was the year where he come off the 140 season, I think.
Because 2021 was
and everyone
was
just like, yep. And I was like, I spent way too much on him, and it was a debacle, mate. And like, I clawed the season back, like Carraz off waivers. I had like Joey Manu when he played a bit of fullback. It just wasn't enough to recoup the fact that each week, like, I didn't have my top pick in my league, and there's only ever one bad team in my league each year. There's only ever one guy that really gets it wrong, and even this year there's not a guy that got it wrong in terms of his studs. He just hasn't been able to string it together. So my league, I would say, is highly competitive, except probably the only downside will be that the guys are pretty busy, so you'll see some guys won't waiver because they just can't get to it in time. Then they'll clean up on a Thursday arvo before kickoff. That'd be the only thing that I would say stops my league from being like ultra competitive. But we've got, you can, like, more than half the league would barely miss a game each weekend. I kid you not. Like,
we're definitely the same.
Like, we're just freaks for it, mate. It's sad, but
it is.
So anyway, so that's cool to know about your team. And then just as you got next on the run sheet, like, just what do you generally make of this year with regards to like the front rowers and just this kind of emerging meta of like depth to a team? Maybe like we're not seeing the Clearys, we're not seeing the Hines. Look, they're going all right. Like, don't get me wrong. It'll regress. Everything will kind of teeter out, but there's a clear mandate now that coming into next year, we're going to see Joey Tarpanay go in the second round. We're going to see May and Haas go in the top 8 picks. What do you make of that? And do you think it sustains as someone who's played over a decade of draft? Like, what do you make of it? And it's not a scoring thing because the scores are stable. It's a footy / player athletic. It's athleticism. These guys that can actually go that long and run that well and offload. True. So, what do you make of it?
I think there's always these types of things from season to season. I still don't believe in it.
Yep.
Like, I don't want... Like, I'm not even actively trying to trade for one of these guys. Yep. Like, even the lower ones.
Yep.
Like, I don't even think about front row forward when I'm thinking about a trade or when I'm drafting.
Yep.
So, I'm pretty sure my front rowers were my last 2 picks.
Yep.
And then... Like, don't get me wrong, I think it was Paseka and Joe Offengawi.
Yeah.
But picked up Paseka. Yeah, no. Did I draft Paseka? No. I think I drafted him. Anyway, got rid of Joe. Josh Curran was on waivers.
Yeah, yep.
So, picked up Josh Curran, averaged at 60, set and forget, don't have to think about it anymore. Junior Paulo.
Yep.
Fell on waivers. Picked him up, plugged and played, hasn't left my team.
Yep.
And then, obviously, because like Curran's been out the last couple of weeks, plugged in Hamish Stewart, did a job for me, got a 70 last week. Didn't really like the matchup, so just decided to AE instead.
Yep.
But that's just how I really look at the front row position. Like, people were, offering me, Fidel Blake for David Fafita, things like that. They just don't do it for me.
Yeah.
I know that is the meta. You're 100% correct there. especially Aaron Clark, like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Tarpanay, but Tarpanay's been doing it for years. Haas has been doing it for years, not to this level.
Yeah, not to this level, mate. Yeah, and we got May on the scene.
May, ridiculous. Like
Couchman, he's a front row eligible.
Couchman,
Carrigan,
100%.
So, look, I hear you. I didn't draft my team based on this meta. I'm saying this meta is emerging, and what do you make of like next year's approach? Are you gonna start bringing those boys into the top 20, or are you gonna pivot and try to antipod it?
You have to, based on probably average, and just is this the way that their coaches see their talents as well? So they're going to play for the big minutes no matter what.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still would just rather like try and grab someone who's emerging into a role like that. So like I've had Aaron Clark years ago. He's a talented guy in the middle. But obviously with no Dylan Walker there, it's just opening it up.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I still look at their 60s and 70s and 80s as just being like par for those guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and don't get me wrong, like my front row's not doing much better, but I look at a guy that's getting 60 and 50 not being my biggest weakness. You know what I mean? I don't want to pay for a 70, 80 average that's consistent when I can get someone that's got a 70 and 80 average but can go 150.
Yeah, I get you. Yep.
You know what I mean? So, and especially in those early picks, like they're just so crucial, especially with your backs and your halves.
Yep.
Like, and that's why like I'm off hookers as well.
Yeah,
like completely.
Yeah, everyone's off. Yeah.
You know, I drafted Manus Ellis. He'd still be in the team if he didn't get injured. He got injured, flicked him straight away, grabbed Riley Smith, see how that goes. You know what I mean? But not really. I don't even think I'd actively trade for Harry Grant. You know what I mean? I just don't see the point.
Yeah, no, I think the hooker thing died a couple of years ago. Like Cookie last year was awesome for me in a trader, ball low, and he popped off when he went into lock. But I think hookers have died. Just quickly shout out Dawn, Coley, and Dransey. G'day, boys. I think I think what's changed, and this is my take on it, just wrapping it up, is it's one of those things. If you got on, like, guys, if you got Haas second round because people were bored of front rowers.
I think it was third round in ours.
Yeah, and if the mindset was what it was, which is who cares about front rowers, which most content creators say, because it's basically true. Like, no one's ever really necessarily won a league because they prioritise AFB and Haas. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, they probably had a fun year. They probably went pretty well. But yeah, like, I think the way it's going to happen is, like, for people like me that had an auction, I built my team without front row in mind necessarily, but you go on my site, it's still there. I had May ranked FRF1 before he ever played for the Tigers. So I projected that in my mind and was like, I think he's going to be the one, and he's not. Haas is, don't get me wrong, but I love May. I liked what I was seeing from the Roosters.
I'm not surprised one bit with what May's doing.
Exactly, and I'm not saying I'm a prophet or anything, but I'm saying I was like committing to that, and I drafted him on that. So I didn't pay $3 like most people did for front rowers. I paid $19, but now I see on that bloke, and my team hasn't scored under 7 in our league, don't worry, but hasn't scored under a really good score nearly all year, because I've got this guy that's just delivering base on top of Teddy hitting upside, ECAT hitting upside, whoever it may be in my team, right? So my mindset is that, like, it feels like a new meta, but it's only a new meta because teams like me that drafted a solid team got a value at front row, and same as the Haas owner if he paired it with a Drinky or a Gutho or whatever it may be. So I think
that's got Couchman.
Yeah, exactly. The Couchman guy's a great example.
I mean, obviously he's injured now, but done pretty well there. Probably didn't even get drafted, to be honest.
In many leagues, I got him off waivers in the community league, who's full of diehards. So, like, it goes to show, even guys like that are all over it. He was just sat there.
Same thing.
Aaron Clark, same thing. Daunt says, so Puppy going 1-1 next year. No, I don't think so, but I think he'll definitely go
mid-1
if he stays healthy. Yeah, and then we'll get a whole recycling, and then we'll get Tommy in late round 2, then he'll be healthy, and it'll just go round and round. Mitch says, I didn't go for FRF until the end, got Couchman and White round 1. Exactly, Mitch, and you're not alone in that, and I think that's going to be why your team starts to perform better. But what I do want to talk about is this year I went for, in the Community League, as a bit of an experiment. Like, I took Tommy, that's sweet, and I just punted on basically my spine, apart from Tommy, and just went forwards, mate, because I figured 2 FRF, 3 back rowers, right, and I just drove the value into there to just bring up the floor just to see what could happen. With Tommy, I felt like it was a nice build, and it's actually worked out, and I've had very little captaincy success, but with Tino, Paddy Carrigan, Couchman, Horsburgh, that sort of with Yo, mate, it just the floor is so high that the volatility of the guys with all the hot names, that's my thing. It's like, I hear you. I used to always, that's why it's upside fantasy. I used to always go, get your guy and go 180 or what. That's unrealistic, but the 140 guy. But it's like, with the volatility of the game right now, and good luck tipping the NRL right this year. Like, good luck. Like, it's bizarre.
100%.
If every 3 weeks your guy goes, and this isn't a drinky conversation, so I hear you with round 1 and 2, but just bear with me a little bit and suspend disbelief. But for every time your high ceiling guy hits 120 and he goes like 40 and 50 the weeks before the 120, if May's getting me 80 with the C on him, that 160, do the math, right? Like, I'm up by 250 over 3 rounds, and I think there's something to be said about it. If next year you can find a way to commit to a crazy high floor build, it has validity. It probably doesn't win the comp, touch wood, but it can be pretty fun just to win a lot of weeks, mate. Like, I'm having a lot of fun in my leagues at the top of the table, bro.
You've got 2 actual front row forward 3 front row forward captains with Haas, May and Tino.
Tapane as well has been pretty solid.
Tapane as well.
Not quite at the level, but I hear you. I'd throw his name in there that he's...
But you could do some good builds, especially if you went like fullback first and then on the way back grab a Haas, May, whatever it is.
Yeah. The problem is now, as you say, when May and Haas come into that first round, the fullbacks on the back end they're not quite at that level. They'll be there, they'll be a little bit, but I think it's going to be really interesting picking in that. You want the people you want to bait those top guys into going Cleary and Hines again and whatnot, and if you can get yourself a gun fullback and then grab one of that second tier front row again, that'll be interesting next year.
Look, the front row meta in a non-captain's league, I'd be all in.
Yeah, good point. Yep, I like
all in on non-captain's leagues.
I like
100%.
Yeah.
Because you just want to build base and big average and scores week in, week out.
Yeah.
I
hear you.
But I just think that them going in the second and third round next year doesn't really interest me still.
Yeah, cool. I like it.
I understand, like May, if you got him in the 5th, 6th round this year, absolutely perfect.
Yeah, game over. Yep.
Yeah. And even though I say I'm not actively looking for front row, if I saw that sort of value in round 6, round 7, round 8, I'd pick him.
Yeah, I know. I get that. Yeah, you're not stupid. You're just saying you're still going to focus on your high guys. Yeah, I get that. And I think we're seeing not an emergence, but like something to be said about like this year. I made a point in my like learnings of my draft last year where I'd had like an okay team. It was mostly Cleary's injuries that cooked me, to be fair. That I just overvalued CT Dub and undervalued 2RF a little bit in my league, and this year I just like went hard at 2RF in everything I could, and it's just raised the floor. And they don't have the 120s, but man, when there's 2 of them going 90 plus, it's like or 80 plus, it's pretty hard to beat, mate.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've got the opposite to that.
Yeah.
And it's 2 years in a row.
Yep.
I actually have neglected my 2RF, besides David for Fafita, which obviously I still want one marquee.
Yeah.
But I look at the second and third slot, I can leave.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Unless there's some middle value somewhere. But like this year, I think I drafted Seyfarth and Tallis Duncan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which took a shot at Tallis Duncan. Didn't work out, but I've still picked up other players. Yeah, I went really hard with CT Dub.
Yeah.
But that's just because of the way our draft went.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, so I think my 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th pick were all CT dubs.
Yeah.
I got Karaz in the 6th or 7th even.
Brother, you got some value.
Yeah.
Where are you sat on that table out of 12 with the value you got?
I'm mid-table.
Oh, yeah.
I'm mid-table,
Yeah,
but I've had...
JC, yeah, I get it.
Mate, I scored 1,025 points 2 weeks ago and lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that variance, it's tough. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. Yeah,
that's just what it is.
No, I hear you, mate. And this year, I did the opposite, where I went hard CT dub 2RF and then punted halfback and 5/8. So I'm running Chanel Harris and AE, and I've got Walker to come back off the bench. And mate, I'm top table. I'm not the best team, I don't think. On paper, I'm not the best team. I've just had really strong performances, but I've had injuries. I've had Toto go down, Tuapoloto go down, Dylan Lucas go down, so I'm not without challenges. But I just think that it sounds like we draft the same way, but because I'm in an auction, I just end up with weirder stuff than most people.
I've just had so many CTW eligible players on my roster this year because we've got the flex as well. And I bought Dylan Lucas as well. And I drafted Ewan Aiken.
Yep.
Which he's probably going to get dual in a couple of rounds.
Yeah, I've stashed him for that next round.
So I've literally got so many CTWs, but that's who I've used to trade so far as well.
So have I, mate. Yep.
Yeah,
you're talking my language. They're the best trade chip.
I drafted Isaaco.
Yeah.
I flipped him for Dylan Lucas. But I had to give someone else.
Yeah, you had to. That's crazy. I did the same, mate. I actually did Fermor and Cobbo for Dylan Lucas, just on a heart thing. So I lost the trade, but it was to a mate.
Only because Fermor's coming back now because of Fafita, probably.
Yeah, and he could have been middling without Fafita, but I trade. It's hard to trade with a lot of guys in the league because obviously it's competitive. So this guy was more of a goodwill thing of I think you win this, but I just prefer Lucas. It worked with I didn't like having to choose 3 CT dubs from 5 good players. It was giving me the shits, so I downgraded. But check out this trade I did last week. Back on our meta thing, I did again using the CT dub sort of bait thing. I did Isaiah Yeo, Toto, and Daniel Saifidi for Tarpane and Herbie. So I gave up Yo and Toto, who are pedigree studs, but have a lot of origin commitments. Double hammy for Toto. Daniel Saifidi was to help him relinquish Tarpane because he felt like he was only dropping from a 75 down to a 55, 60 average. Yeah. So I threw that in, but I got him off waivers, so I'm married to him.
Yeah.
I'm cool, mate. And he's got the shoulder thing. I'm I'm all right. And I got Tarpane and Herbie to just punch through buys because May might go off to origin and whatnot. So yeah, it's good to hear that you do what I do, which is stash big gun CT dubs, use them to flip them, get all the value back, mate.
Yeah, it was safe path. The other guy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Isaac on safe path. I actually did a pretty decent trade last week as well. I got Angus Crichton in.
Yeah, okay.
And I gave
It's only a buy low, mate. Apart from a few 70s, he's not been red hot without kills.
He's just come off 2 40s. And they've won, I think they've won both those games. So but I got rid of Dylan Egan, who I picked up off waivers.
Cash, nice.
And Rayman.
Perfect.
So Raymond's another one. I drafted him early. He's just been annoying me all year. He scored 1 try, and it was in the first round against Penrith. I didn't want to watch him anymore.
Can I ask why the guy took that trade? Because that's a bit of a...
last week, Crichton's on the bye.
Yeah.
And he's a Dragons fan.
Yeah, okay.
And we were at Magic Round when Dylan Egan went through, and I sort of pumped him up.
Play the man. Play the man, dude. Play the man.
So, because I'm from the Illawarra, so most of the blokes in my league are Dragons fans.
Gotcha.
Not all of them, being honest. Probably about 4 or 5.
Yeah, getcha, yeah.
But yeah, we're obviously, well into the Tigers-Dragons game, and Dylan Egan's obviously, I don't know if it was the first try or that was last. No, it was the first try.
Yeah.
So pumped him up a bit. And,
no, good mate. No, it's fair because that's a bit of a fleecy that one, but fair play to it. I like it. And if he believes in Ramian, fair play. But that's
Ramian's always a solid guy anyway.
Yeah, so. It's fine. Yeah, and a good yarn. But we better get into the meat of the potty, mate, because that was good. I needed to do that. That's for my own joy. Is just having a yarn. But okay, I want to know your top 3 buy lows and why. We'll just go one by one. So give me your first name, have a quick chat, and we'll go on with it.
All right, I've gone for a halves theme because I believe there's a lot of halves that are not doing the job.
Yep.
But are still big names. So
Gotcha.
the first name is Jerome Hughes.
Yep.
Obviously, he's still, what's he averaging? 64, 65?
Yeah.
It's decent, but after last year, you probably think he can probably do a bit more than that.
Yep.
The only caveat I've got is Munster's back and Puppy's in form. They're taking points from him, basically.
Yep. Basically, yep. What do you? My only issue with Hughes, he comes off the big week, doesn't play Origin. The owner's probably licking their lips, going, "This boy's going to keep delivering."
Yeah.
What would you suggest if people are going to go on a quote unquote buy low for Romy? Like, what do you think the approach is? It wait for its low or just sell the house?
I've got two guys in my sell high.
Yep.
That would be perfect.
1-for-1 type things.
Well, if you get 1-for-1 all day.
Yeah.
But Adam Reynolds and Jamal Fogarty both averaging 70.
Ridiculous. Reynolds is the part ridiculous.
Fogarty, so,
yeah.
If you can flip those guys, like me personally, if I had Reynolds or Fogarty, I would still chuck someone else in just to get that deal over the line.
Otherwise, people aren't that stupid. I think I'd do probably nearly a 3-for-1 really low end shit. I'd throw, like, if I could, throw like a CT dub and some other shit in there, and just go get in there. Yeah, that's a good offer. Yeah. If that CT dub extra thing is good enough, because I know in my league, historical players would probably say, like, sweet mate, like, how long's that going to last? Shove it. But,
no, that's it. But I'll throw DC into this as well.
Yeah, I think he's
right, because I think it's almost the same sort of thing. And then same thing with the sell highs, like Adam Reynolds and Fogarty. If I could go to DCE, I probably would too. Only thing with DCE, he's making business decisions right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught the didn't even try to tackle AFB when he went through. Yeah, absolute business decision.
Yeah. Actually, that's the one game I missed. I was out for Mother's Day lunch, but
right.
I heard or something about just him.
Went through untouched.
Looking a bit like he's just a bit disinterested.
At least made an effort.
And he doesn't goal kicks that floor. We saw that floor come up. Like, I was actually in trade talks. Get this, on the Monday, the day before I did the Tarpanay Herbie deal, using that same package of Yo and To'o about DCE, and I just kept telling myself, like, how much better is he going to be than my Sam Walker that comes back in 3 weeks?
Look, in those situations, I wouldn't bother either.
No, I hear you. I'm just saying, like, I'm with you where it's like, what is he doing? But then you've got to look at the finals run. DC is a big, he is a guy that can convert on a finals run. He can actually score a try. Not many halfbacks do score. DC is scoring a try. Jerome can just bust the line. Jerome's the next level. I like Jerome the most, but to me, I think he's really hard to get. Whereas DCE, I think off an 11 and then a couple of, like, a run of 40s, I'm with you, where I think he's like nearly...
Oh, he's gettable right now.
He's gettable, mate, 100%. Yeah. I think you do a 2-for-1. I think you put up your well-performing halfback and you get something like that. Dawn in the chat says, surely, like, in real life, DCE doesn't have as much SC value going forward, or am I completely wrong there? No, I think what we're saying here, Dawn, is, like... He does have SC value because he's got pedigree. He's never really been an injury-prone guy. And what we like to do when we're talking about a buy low is obviously recent performances in the mind of the owner. Then we're looking at the pedigree, knowing that they can reach a better place. And then we're looking at the finals run or any other upside. So for me, it's finals. For Romy, for me, or when I bought Herbie, it's like To'o can go 120. Herbie nearly can't. But Herbie doesn't play Origin. So I'm getting 70 for 8 rounds, whereas To'o's going to go 100, 50, miss, 100.
He still needs tries.
He needs tries too.
To'o.
So I'm okay with that. So that's what we're looking at. So Dawn, DC does have value for the rest of the year. What you got to do as a buyer, if you're going to try and buy him low, is consider what that value is and how it builds. So as I said to Griff just then, I've got Sammy Walker on the bench in my home league. DCE, I can't. It's a tough buy. It worked because I had Ola Kawatu. I was really tempted for the stack, but I didn't go that direction.
Nice.
But Griff's points 100% is this isn't the DCE for the rest of the year, what we're seeing this last few weeks anyway. So he is a strong buy low candidate in a halfback theme. Anything else on DC, or want to go to name number 3?
No, I've got number 3 here. Matt Burton.
Oh, that's a cool one, mate.
Yeah, because he's averaging 50 right now. Look, obviously he hasn't been kicking. Stephen Crichton's taken the kicking at the moment.
Yeah.
But there has to be a stage where he gets the kicking back. And
do you think, mate? Can I throw this one at you? Can I throw this one at you? Daryl Harrigan, the kicking coach, he said he's never seen a more fluid, like natural kicker than Crichton.
Yeah.
Now, where I'm with you is I've heard, I think it was, I don't know which content creator, I wanted to give credit, but they were saying that a big part of the kicking is having where possible, the biggest leaders go back to the huddle. Not having your biggest leader kick. And that's your issue with Crichton kicking is he's not in the huddle. But, mate, like, Burton's back 3 weeks now. Like, if he's not kicking on that knee, it's 50-50 right now, I reckon, on who carries it. Like, Crichton's kicking him, and it keeps him in the game. You know, he's playing better since he's been kicking. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, 100%. I've actually got him as a sell high. Only because he's never really done this before.
Never sustained it, no.
But he's not an urgent sell high.
No, I get you.
It only takes 1 week where if he does give the kicking up, then you just sell.
The arse falls out of it, yep.
Yeah.
You got to do it now, I think. I think Crichton is an awesome sell high, mate. Well said.
Yeah.
And I think Burton's a buy low, and this is my case for him, is the average isn't great. But what he does when they're rolling is he's a running footy player, and we know what that does for Supercoach. He's got guns outside him, both cherry and big fella kicks. They can break the line. That's line break assists. That hesitation when you're running a 2v1 or running at the line as a half. If that half that's got you on his inside shoulder and he's got kicks on his right shoulder, he starts to plant weight on that right foot because he's going, shit, it's going to Big Villy.
Yeah.
That's odds for Burton, and it's only to do with his health, I think. The downside of Burton, for anyone hesitating on Burton, and this is more eye test nuance, Burton, to me, is a little bit of a phase in and out of a game type guy. He can just go, I've got Critter, got Toby Sexton who's running the show, got Reed Marnie, got Kicks, got all these big names doing everything. I'm cruising. And as Connor Tracy improves, is that the 10 points we're losing on Burton? Is that Connor Tracy getting better at footy, mate? And so, whilst I love the buy low, I just like to talk both sides. I'm a neutral guy. I'm not a salesman. There's a world where I think Burton's ceiling improves this year with the team rolling, right? Let's factor that in.
The main factor in buying him low is the Bulldogs the top team right now. So.
Yeah, I love it, mate. Mate, it's a great... I didn't even think of it, so I'm giving you all the credit, but I think just for someone like myself, if I was to... I just like to talk about if I put myself in those shoes of looking at him, I'd go, is he actually just kind of this guy in this team because the team's so good? I still think you're right, but yeah, there's something to be said about that team's just that good. There's that many mouths to feed if he doesn't goal kick. But I think in terms of buy low, what he provides you is athleticism, running footy, upside, ceiling stuff at that position, but also there's room to grow on getting the kicking back. So if you just say he's averaging, what do you say, 50?
Yeah, it's 50.
50. So say you go, shit, he's got to get to 58, 60. I want that. So you do a Dylan Brown for Burton. Let's just say, for example, that could be a good deal because Brownie's been getting junk time, going 60 plus a bit here and there.
Yeah, he's on my sell high list, but not really.
Not really.
He's probably doing. He's on my buy low. Sorry,
gotcha.
I'm thinking that he should actually be going better, but he's not going that bad either.
Yeah, and Moses is back. He should do better with Mose because that'll lead to opening the field up. How good's their left-hand shape? Look, Addo-Carr's line break after line break.
Mate, I got a trade through for Addo-Carr the other week. Just I picked up Samuel Afinu just as a 1 week plug.
Yeah,
and then the next week, I was literally just about to drop him, and actually Noble come to me and goes, "Do you want Addo-Carr for Finu?"
Yeah,
because he had to have someone in that game.
Yeah,
and I think that Parra on the buy.
Yeah,
so I was like, yeah, no worries.
Nice low.
Grabbed him, tried to sell him straight away. No one wanted a bar of him. Just going back to back 180. So
take it,
I'm
mate,
just like, you know what? He's staying in my side for as long as I want him.
Yeah, because, man, with that left-hand shape, they set it up like a couple of metres wide of the right post. So you just go Dylan Walker or Moses, and then it's Dylan Brown, then it's Iongi or Addo-Carr, mate, and it's just line breaks, 10 points. It's crazy, dude.
I think everybody's forgetting Mike Acevo was on that edge, and that bloke scored 100 tries for Parramatta.
Yeah.
Like, he's like one of their leading try scorers of all time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On that left edge.
Legit.
With Moses,
and
Dylan
he doesn't
Brown,
have the get up, mate. He doesn't have the get up as Adokar. Adokar over 20 yards creates a line break. That's the 10 points.
Exactly
you get
right.
Sevo didn't create line breaks 40 yards out.
No.
Sevo finished tries.
Yeah,
so Adokar, you're getting both, mate. So I love that. And I love Adokar as just a guy to get on waivers this week if anyone's listening, because he should be available at some.
100%.
Yeah. So I love the analysis. I love the breakdown. I was just going to suggest, like, potentially with the Dylan Brown to just to finish that point with Burton. Just for example, if you think 50 60, there's a world that's 60 66 with goal kicking just with the Bulldogs. So just from a ceiling of what he could achieve in the change, I love the Burton call out. So you've mentioned some sell highs. So we spoke about Fogarty. We spoke about Adam Reynolds is a big
Stephen
one. Crichton's a really good one. Anyone else there?
Yeah, look, Saul Wong.
Yeah, okay.
Not really one of my cup of tea, and I just think you could get something for him, maybe.
I think so. And would you just advice to the people? I'd say be telling people how good the buy coverage is. Say he was playing all these minor buys, all these major buys. If they're playing that, talk about his lock the position down, the base, just to try and sell him a bit, because I know the scores have been middling. So in terms of selling him high, I think you'd be trying to say, hopefully it's a buy thing.
My 3 favourite CTWs that I just don't like, but they seem to every year have some stages or patches where they're sell highs.
Yep.
And that's Xavier Coates,
Tyler
Cooler, and Phil Sammy.
Yep, I hear you. Phil Sammy, I reckon people just have rose-coloured glasses, but that bloke is always hobbling around. He's always half injured.
Always.
I just couldn't trust him.
I don't trust him at all.
No, Coates as well, so try reliant, and I think my difference on Coates is in a 4 CTW league with on the matchup play, plug him in, that's fine. But you could sell him for higher than what he's worth, which
that's the point.
I get you. You could get a CTW 2 or 3 for the CTW 4, and you should be going for that.
That's right.
And then who was the other one that you mentioned? I laughed at. Cooler. So Cooler, the classic, he always does this. Has he turned a corner? I don't think so. I think it's just been outcome based. It's just been like a little bit of luck. He is a perennial drifter in and out of games. I reckon just goes missing sort of thing. I had a guy in my league. I had CNK there, and he needed a fullback, and I just wanted to say, mate, like, please take CNK. I'll take someone else off you. And he's like, no, I've got Cooler at fullback. I'm like, that's not a thing, mate. And he's just like, no, he is. 2 weeks in a row, 60-60, and now he never talked to me again because he's like, I'm cruising on Cooler. I'm like, it's not what you think it is, mate. But he won't listen, so I'm sat there holding the bag. But I love the list, mate. No, that's good. Any final comments on buy lows, sell highs?
Just Dylan Egan once again. Like,
love that.
Not to say that he can't keep it up. Not to say that he's not going to be a gun in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I just think when you get these little flash in the pan sort of players that are just coming in, I just sell them the hype.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I sold Xavier Willison the other week as well.
Yeah.
Same thing. I actually think for my team, he probably would have been better as being a front row that has some upside, but I was already selling into the hype, so I didn't care. I was just like, I'll figure it out.
And he's already flatlined, back-to-back 20s.
That's right.
Starts, and then his only value is in a buy-round league like mine, because he's going to play the minutes maybe that Haas and Paddy are going to rest, so he'll go up to 50 minutes. It's his only value, so you killed it, mate.
Yeah, I don't know how Madge is continuing with Kobe Hetherington when you could just go bang, Haas, Willison up front, Carrigan back to 13, Piakura and Ricky on the edges, and then maybe teams would actually be scared about your forward pack. Other than that, they're just going Haas and Carrigan. That's it.
Madge is a fucking myth, mate. Like, I'm a Broncos, Queensland, we're all up. My whole league is Broncos fans. I sort of go Finns because I like to support the underdog, so I've sort of pivoted to Finns, but growing up my whole life, Broncos, like, Madge is a myth. So you lose 2 games. What did you change? Fletcher Baker, mate.
Yeah.
Who is fucking dirt.
He did all this shit at South.
Yep.
Before he got sacked, but even when he was successful, he had those players like rest in peace, Cole Turner. But I mean, he wasn't exactly to me, he was like a Kobe Hetherington. Like, okay, but there's always better players on his bench that should have been starting over him.
He's big on that. He thinks he's defining a culture. He thinks he's defining a culture by playing his best trainer. And I'm like, mate, the training paddock isn't the footy field fundamentally.
That's right.
And I get giving Kobe Hetherington like a crack as a result of his preseason efforts and his cultural influence.
I'm happy for him to be on the bench.
Put him on the bench, mate.
Yeah.
Put him on the bench. 30 minutes through the middle, tackle everything that moves, but he's no dynamic athleticism at all there. It's a killer. So I love the Xavier Willison. Shout out to the BDE boys. I jumped in their live chat the other week and said, I'm tuning in just to hear what you guys got to say about Xavier Willison, because I was done for a loop on him. I was unsure whether to burn my number 1 ticket on him, because I'm thinking FRF2 on the edge, 80 minutes, rest of the season, unlocked. This could be go time. So, but I wasn't sure, right? And I'm like, I didn't watch the Broncos game that week. I just wasn't sure. So I joined their chat, and Simo's like, luxury gamble, if you get me. And I like luxury. I always talk about luxury punts. Like, if you can do it, go for it. But I didn't. I had a waiver 1 ticket. And Big Red, I forget, I think he just calls himself Redson or Red, whatever. Redman. He was like, nah, certified 1, like, go for it full in. I'm like, I'm in the chat explaining, and I think I won that one. Red man, you got that one wrong, brother. So me and Simo are up and Redmond is down. So Big Willie was a myth.
Look, I know we're going to get into just some advice and whatnot, but just generally on that type of situation. So I'm a big proponent of wait until final teams are in. And if you see some little nuggets like Xavier Willison starting on the second row, see, that's when I jumped on. I didn't wait till waivers the next week. I just jump on and give him a crack straight away.
Hour before kickoff, you mean, team list?
Yeah. So hour before kickoff, he got named to start on the edge, and I was like,
jump on.
Yeah. I'm going for it. Like, my front row's atrocious anyway.
Yeah.
So I'll go for it. Grabbed him. The next week, as you say, he's potentially number 1 waiver. And then even my league's looking at him at the same thing, and they're going, oh, but he's already gone.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So then I only have to wait another week.
They've got this buzz. Yep.
Now he's got a bit of buzz.
Trade him.
Trade bait.
Yep.
Just sell on the high.
Mate, I did that, and this is the challenge, though. So I did that with Dylan Egan in the community league. I'm just going to use Dylan Egan, fuck it, because I've got Couchman, so I get the benefit of the injury because Dylan Egan's minutes should stabilise. But I did the same thing. I was like, yep, he's been moved to starting, so I just jump on him. But this is the problem. This is the luxury. You've got to have the luxury to do it. In my home league,
that's right.
My bench is just stacked full of my stashes and my long plays. Like, I got Sam Walker, I had Mam, I got Aitken for the duel, like I got Iongi to support Teddy on bye. So I got all these programs set up to keep winning. I don't have the luxury of that. But I've got 1 ticket. But I hear you. I'm saying that's good advice. I'm just saying it sucks when you can't do it.
I've also would say I was in a similar position at the start of the year. I don't think I could drop any of my players for maybe the first 3 or 4 weeks. Maybe 5 weeks. And then even then I was reluctant. Like, I had Skelton, and I'm a big believer in Skelton. But I just had to rip the Band-Aid off. Eventually it was costing me, fielding a full team or whatever it was. He's going to be out for however long.
No, he's the same as Tui. Like, once they do the double hammy in the one season, I'm happy to flick him.
Exactly.
I flick Tui, mate. Don't get me wrong. I've dropped play. Don't get me wrong. I've made moves on those. I dropped Humphreys, Tui. I'm just saying those luxury guys like the Willie and the Egans, they're the best example, as you say. If you're in a league where you do need to make moves, they're the guys to jump on. And if that score converts, like it did for Big Willie week 1, where he scored a try on the edge, it's like, this is it. Get on the trade. Just get a minor upgrade. You go to Willie.
100%.
Like fucking, I don't know, JFH or something.
If halfback wasn't so bad, I would have dropped Jamie Humphreys. But I had to wait for him to come back just to give me a 6. You know what I mean? So, like, but that's the position I am in halfback. You know what I mean? So
when he got hurt, I just went, I think I went Savala, but then grabbed Walker straight away. I went, okay, if he's out, then I just need to... And this was like week 5. I had to stash Walker, which is disgusting to do a 9-week run, but I had to, mate, because I knew I'd be juggling shit all year, and so it was pretty grim. But we make it work, mate. Like, it's all good. And I just AE it and fucking figured it out. I nearly ran Cogger last week, which is funny, but I punted him like last final hour, and he scored 15, thankfully, mate. But I thought, shit, the matchup, and then Knights at home, Titans, and then,
See, they're the type of blokes, Cogger, Crossland. Like, I actually had to use Crossland this year as well. So bad.
No, it's grim, eh? Yeah.
It's so bad.
Thank God for AEing as an alternative.
Yeah,
and
100%.
I think it's a fair cop because we don't have the flex of classic where if a guy does low scores, he drops out because we don't have that in draft.
Yeah.
I think having AE as a rule is really fair for your league to let people who really can't do something just run a bench score. It makes total sense. And then they have that issue to manage too. So it's not like it's a get out of jail free card.
Yeah,
I had Mulatalo sweating on him not going 20 again. Luckily he didn't, so I got a big AE, but he could have easily gone 20. I'm like, what's the difference between his 20 and Cogger's 15, you know?
Yeah, well, that's it.
We've actually covered a lot of ground tonight, which I think diehards will enjoy. I know I would enjoy, and I'm a big on make the content you want to consume. So appreciate everything we've spoken to. And I did have a question here, like, what advice do you have? And I know we've covered actually our advice the whole way through, which I didn't sort of expect. But is there any key call-outs for guys? Like, I know you've won your league a few times. It's very competitive. What's your sort of key takeaways? What's your key takeaways? Well, in your losses then, the close calls, just if you don't come back on the show, and I want you back, but if you don't, what are your final remarks for the guys that might listen to this?
Yeah, look, I've got a couple of points here.
Yeah.
I'll just be brief.
Yeah, no,
I won't go too much into it, but they sort of self-explanatory anyway. When you're drafting your team, obviously that's only the start. It's not the be-all and end-all of your year. You've got to be active. Free agent, waiver pickups. I always look to trade first before I think about going to the free agency or waivers.
Oh, cool, yeah.
There's not always a trade there.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest, there just isn't. Like,
how do you shape your messages to your boys? Do you just go DMs of their Facebook or Instagram? Your
usually text. Usually
with
most blokes, but then just Facebook Facebook Messenger.
And how do you word? Do you keep it clean and go, "Hey Johnny for Johnny," or do you go, "Hey mate"?
No, I keep it clean from the start.
Yeah.
However, I feel, I don't know if this is actually true, if you'd have to ask the league.
Yeah.
But I feel like my offers are always, at worst, mid-fair deals.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want to waste my time or their time. You do throw out some trash every now and then just to see. But majority of the time, I will start at a lowest point I can.
Yeah, gotcha.
But I know already in my head when
want.
thinking about that player or that trade I want to make, how far I'm willing to go as well. And more often than not, if I have to go to where I've got to be, I usually get it over the line. Like, I didn't get Ponga over the line a couple of weeks ago, right? So he got sold just before he's 98. And I went for him. My offer was Carraz and, which is probably a backwards deal now, but Carraz and, who was it? Oh, Adokar, probably. Yeah. And I just started there. I already knew what his other best offer was, though, because people just can't help but tell you. So,
yeah, I gotcha.
You know, and it was Eli Katoa and Connor Tracy for Ponga. And I just felt like I could probably beat it, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah.
And then I eventually wanted to chuck in Curran. And then I changed Adokar to who was it? Oh, it was probably Tamale or something like that at the time. But I was virtually three guys averaging above 60. Yeah. You know what I mean? For Ponga, who was just averaging 60. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, we know what Ponga's pedigree is.
Yeah.
Captaincy choice, all that sort of thing. But even giving him Carraz 1-for-1 would almost be fair deal.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Possibly, maybe not even. Maybe Carraz is.
Who knows?
He's better.
Yeah, who knows how this season's going to pan out. I'm a believer, and I'm biased because in my comp he's been in the final or thereabouts for literally 5 years in a row. When the
because of our flex spot as well. I got to the grand final pretty easily last year. Total points was number one. Everything. Because I drafted Drinky at 1. My next pick was Jerome Hughes.
Yeah, nice.
And my next pick after that was Dylan Edwards.
Oh, breakout years, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Dylan never had the upside year, but yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I sold Jerome Hughes for Cleary.
Yeah.
Because Cleary was injured.
Yeah, and Hughes was flying.
I went for it, didn't work out.
Hughes didn't even play the grand final, mate.
I don't think Jerome Hughes played the grand final anyway.
So it's a good trade, yeah.
Yeah. But either did Cleary. And what's even funnier, I picked up Hines off the waivers.
Oh, that's not good. Don't tell me that because that makes me hate the league.
When he was Nobley actually dropped him. But he sort of had to because his season was in disarray. And he wasn't actually supposed to come back until maybe round 26.
Oh, I forgot Hines was injured.
Yeah. So he was on waivers for ages.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, people were picking him up and dropping him and all that sort of thing because they thought they were going to get the grand final or whatever. Yeah. But Sean Johnson was also on there.
Yeah.
And if I'd played Sean Johnson over Nico Hines, I probably would have won.
Oh, that's brutal, mate. That's brutal. Yeah, I just want to say on trades in general, I try and do clean, like, hey, just want to let you know, you opened this deal.
Yeah.
But depending on their response, I'll always say, I'll always follow up and I'll go to the effort because I'm obsessed with the fucking stupid game. I'll say, this is why I think it's a win-win.
Yeah.
So I'm big on
I used to do that all the time.
Yeah. Sounds like you guys trade pretty fluidly there now. So
but like a lot of the guys are probably like they know that sort of that tactic now as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's easier for me these days to literally just go Karaz and Adokar for Ponga.
Yeah, gotcha.
I'll just write that, leave it at that, see what they write back. Yeah, if it's just flat out no, then I know I'm nowhere near it.
Yeah.
Or they'll, maybe, I don't know, I'm thinking about it. Then I'll just go, what about if I chucked in Curran?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, things like that. So,
I get you, yeah. I think, though, in terms of advice for others, sometimes the transparency of why you think the deal works both ways is actually the thing that builds the trust for the deal.
Oh, for sure.
So
for sure. If you're not just giving them random stats that
I
don't
do stats.
side.
No, I never do stats.
Yeah.
No. I always do shit like, you need this. It's a 10-point bump on what you've
got. Yeah, that's fair enough.
And I'm giving you this, which helps you offset that. But then you get this. Yeah. And I just try and help explain it, and I'll talk about maybe buys or say like, oh, look, he's got this guy coming back in a few months. I think the minutes will drop. Like, what do you reckon? And keep it pretty conversational. Like that's generally...
If you're not putting stats in there, 100%.
Yeah, I think once you do stat, it's a bit weird. Yeah, you don't want to do that, mate. I always act like I always act like the dumber guy. So I always say like, I don't know, like if this was gonna, that's always a good one. But
or you offer something. They give you a rebuttal, and you know that you just want to hit instant accept. Yeah. And you're just like,
me think too.
Yeah, all right, mate.
Yeah, all right. Too. Yeah, whatever. And then the other good one as well, which is pretty common as well if people play fantasy sports, is the deal you want and you start elsewhere, and then you go, can I get Horsburgh and Reynolds? And he goes, I can't give up Reynolds. I'm like, if I throw in DSAF, will you give me Tarpanay? And he was like, yeah. And I was like... But that's what I wanted the whole time, so it's all good.
Yeah,
so
totally on board with that sort of stuff.
But look, I think we'll wrap up because this is the longest potty I've ever done. People usually expect 20 minutes, but they've got an hour and 10. But I did want a special episode. We've done buy low, sell high, had a bit of a chat, and just spoken all things draft, which I think will be refreshing for some people that do want to hear a bit more. And mostly just an introduction, so when you come back, people know sort of what your deal is, which is pretty cool. But
cheers for having me, mate.
Yeah, no, it was refreshing to have a guest on and someone that like has different viewpoints and different feelings about it. But thanks for working on the tech with me. I appreciate that, Griff. Thanks for all the potties you released back in the day. Gave me many hours of distraction from work or commuting. Which
look, this has got the juice flowing again, so it's good. It's good to have a chat about draft.
Yeah, thanks, mate. And hopefully some people from your community see this if you flick it over your side and they can see your voice again. They'll be so happy to see and hear from you, mate, because it would have been years of just them missing your opinion and your voice. So, appreciate having you on, and best of luck through the Origin period, which you do have buys for, but hopefully your boys don't get too hurt. And hopefully you get Fafita back, and we'll chat. We'll chat very soon, mate.
Cheers, Hudson. Thanks for that,
mate.
Cheers.